Hey friends, welcome to another episode of Auto Afflicted. This is part 2 of the turbo install on the Benz 300 CE. As you can see, intercooler's in. I'm going to show you how I did it, how it all plumbs into the engine bay, all that good stuff. Let's get into it. Alright, so as you can see, intercooler is installed. It went in just how I wanted it. This is, as I mentioned, part 2 of the install. This is running the intercooler into the bumper, running all the intercooler hosing up and seeing how that's all going to look. Part 1, you can check out. That's all the parts and the plan for this. As ever, giving you all the details that I can. And then future videos, of course, are going to feature actually bolting up the turbo, everything all the way out, so you can do it yourself by following. Anyway, let's get cracking on this. So looking to fit the intercooler right up under here, but the issue is sheet metal here is keeping it from getting up as high as I need to get to the underside of the bumper core where I'm going to mount the intercooler itself. So I'm going to cut out this bit of metal from here to here, right about there, so I can get up and back a little bit. So cut this piece out so that the intercooler can fit up in here, kind of like this, right? We still got a notch out here. This is just a little bit of a support for cooling and stuff that comes off of the main bumper core. So it's really not going to be a big deal to notch this back a little bit so that the intercooler can sit further back. So after I got this notched out here, right, give my intercooler a little space to come up, and then I notch this out to give the intercooler space to come back. And then I decided that what I really need to do also is cut a little hole here so I can put my bracketry coming out of there. And went with the primary heavy-duty cutting wheel first, and then came back through with the Dremel nice and gently, because those are pretty small areas. As you can see here, the bracket will go in like this. Bracket's gonna need some modification still, but there is room back in here and a flat space to bolt the bracket down to it, and ultimately these brackets will be able to hold the intercooler. Brackets will be able to hold the intercooler about like that. And then we'll cut away the bumper so it fits over. All right, so we got the brackets in here where that notch is. These are just temporary washers. It is lifted up a little bit inside there so that it gets the fit that I want. And then the intercooler piping came right up here through these triangles in the body, and the triangles were actually covered, that little zone is covered by plastic covers here. You can see it's right through there, kind of no problem. And then on this side, there's some stuff here, and I didn't have to relocate anything. It just came right up next to there. This is the cold side going in to the throttle body, so I don't foresee any issues with that. You can see it underneath here. The hottest side, of course, is going to be the side coming off the turbo, but that is turning out just how I like it. Really happy so far. As you can see, the Engine bay vibes are high. Working out basically how I planned. So you got the basically a 4-inch to 2.5 here off the throttle body, and we've got this pipe that allows for the blow-off valve for the throttle body for safety. And then of course we're going to do a little trim here on this pipe because you can see there's an overlap, and I got a 90 here silicone hose. And then you know, turbo is kind of just mocked up into place. Obviously I don't have the manifold on it, but this is about where it sits with the manifold. And then we've got the 2-inch right here. We got a 2-inch to 2.5, and we've got the 90 bend here going down to the intercooler, and need to trim a little bit of that pipe, and then that's all gonna look really good. I'm gonna get my fuel pressure off of there, and of course be running some boost gauge, and we've got oil pressure already in the car, and got air fuel mixture gauge that's going to be coming off the O2 sensor, which will be on the down pipe, and the down pipe obviously is going to go on the back of there, and custom 2.5-inch stainless all the way out. So just what I was looking for, and it pretty much coming together so easy, just plug and play with parts I was able to buy. Again, description and links to all the parts are in video number 1, and video number 1 goes over all of that. And then the next video, of course, is going to be I think it's either going to be putting the gauges in for all the you know, boost and all of that, putting that inside the car gauge wise, and then of course we're gonna bolt up the turbo, do a full episode on that, and a full episode on the exhaust as well. So I've already been doing some cutting on the bumper. Obviously I got it well chopped up here. So when you're cutting, it's always recommended to put some painter's tape on the paint side of where you're going to cut, and I'm obviously cutting on the non-paint side. The reason you want to put the tape on there is because it helps keep the paint from chipping, and I mean, you don't really want your paint all chipped up. You can see there's some clear coat has released here a little bit along these cuts. I don't think the clear coat was great on this bumper to begin with. Bumper wasn't great to begin with anyway, that's why I chose to chop it up. But so you get your little bits of tape on there, get it pressed in real nice, and then come through and make the cuts. That's the stuff I'm gonna cut away right there. Yeah, protect your table, protect your bumper, wear protective eyewear, all that good stuff. This really does require quite a bit of test fitting. You know, you want to make sure you get it right. Obviously you want to be careful with your bumper. You don't want to scratch it. You're like constantly on off with it, right? You put it on, see how it fits, see where it needs to be trimmed some more. Looks like it's kind of fitting in there. I'm gonna get these other parts of the bumper up and tight and see how it's looking. So down here it's looking pretty good and tight. It is pressing on the intercooler hose a little bit. I'm not too worried about it. I just kind of trimmed the lip back there. And then this stuff, instead of letting that flop, I'll probably get a little piece of metal of some sort and tie it together back here between these 2 points for stability. I mean, it looks like I could have almost not cut the bottom of this lip, and just tucked it back there behind it. But I don't know, that would require a lot more difficulty putting on the intercooler and all that. The bumper wouldn't just slide on in that case. So I don't know, pretty happy. I think I can bolt up like this and be pretty satisfied just the way it is. Again, we're gonna get some black intercooler hosing because bright red is too freaking flashy. That's ridiculous. So you can see my cuts aren't the most magical, but having the tape definitely made a big difference. There is a little clear coat peeling up here. This car had kind of a crusty paint job on it, so it's whatever. But taping those edges off really makes a big difference. I wouldn't even want to know what it looks like if you don't tape those edges off. It'd probably be super blasted. So, you know, my cut's whatever. This is the underside. You can't even hardly see that. All right, so there you go. All in, looking nice and tight, just how I was kind of expecting it would. Now, future videos, of course, as I mentioned before, we'll cover actually bolting up the turbo. We got to install the gauges, of course, and gonna do a full custom exhaust all the way out. So those are future videos to look forward to. Maybe take a look around the channel, see some of the car reviews I've done, some fun stuff there. And you know, if you liked it, drop a like. Maybe hit the noties if you want to keep up on future videos. And otherwise, just have the best day. Love the ones you're with. Be kind to the people around you. And we'll catch you on the next one.